Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Touchdown Talk podcast, the best podcast for all things sports. I'm Anthony, one of your beloved co hosts here at Touchdown Talk, along with my buddy Ryan. What's up, Ryan?
Let's go, baby. We eating after this NFL draft, Tony. I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped to talk about this, dude. What a
Oh,
draft.
dude,
What a draft, man.
we got a lot to be excited for, a lot to look forward to if you're a New England fan coming up next year. And I'm just excited. I can't wait. I can't wait, man. This is the first season I'm going back to full on Patriots mode instead of red zone, possibly. We'll see. Unless they start out like
You can
0
afford it.
0 and 4. What, of red zone? Oh, I use a VPN to get that
No, I
shit.
mean, like, I'm just saying how much it costs to see games, local games and stuff like that. Just it's crazy amount of money. But yeah, no, definitely it depends how good they actually are after this draft and this free
Yeah,
agency, right? Yeah, but you
right,
you have
right.
hope for sure. For sure, you have hope as a Pats fan. You got hope.
Well, dude, so yeah, it's okay. We can start off with the Pats, right? And that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I was
Since we're already on the topic.
yeah, I was just gonna go through some NFL draft like winners and losers, and the Pats are my first big winner. You
Yeah,
know,
same here.
they addressed every need that they had,
Yep. So
and they're
if I had the like rank the Pats draft out of 10, it would be like a 9, 9.5 out of 10. That's how good I thought they did. I was
I'd
not
agree with that.
expecting
Yeah,
that at all. Um, but we're like not alone either. Like a lot of like people like sports writers, all that like they agree that the Pats are up there, man. They're up there. They one of the best, biggest winners of this year's draft. So it's a
absolutely.
very very popular opinion right now.
Yeah, if you
Um,
look at any sort of draft grade, which it's we really don't know. You never know if these guys are going to be good or not, right? You're still just going based off of, you know, did you get good value for these guys based off of our other previous predictions for how good they're going to be, which we don't know anyway, right? But at least right now, it really looks like the Pats did everything that they needed to do. You go into the draft with a certain amount of needs, right? You address some of those needs in the offseason on the defensive side of the ball. Like most of their free agent pickups were defensive guys, and
yeah,
then you had
yeah,
Stephon Diggs, right?
yep.
But the big thing for the Pats is okay, you hit on a quarterback last year at number 3 overall in Drake May in the draft.
Well,
You
we
have
hope
a
we hit.
quarterback that, well, yeah, that's the thing. But the thing that was kind of, I feel like the thing that was kind of holding him back last year was the offensive line. The
Yeah,
Pats had the
absolutely.
worst offensive line in the league. Like, I wish I had the stats, but they gave up like the highest sack numbers. Their offensive line was probably top 5 in sacks allowed. So the biggest thing heading into the draft is offensive line, and number 4 overall is
Will Campbell, baby.
and he was already the number 1 offensive line prospect in the draft. But then after he got drafted, the way that he talked about the Pats, I mean, you saw the clip, Tony. I know you
Oh
saw the
yeah.
clip.
Oh yeah.
Him saying he's going to fight and die to protect Drake May, that's what you need. Seeing that gives me a lot of hope about his pass protection going forward. Drake May had some explosive plays with a terrible O line. Imagine what he can do with a good O line and with some weapons. So not only was it Will Campbell, but then you got Travion Henderson. After that, you got Kyle Williams, wide receiver. After that, and you got Jared Wilson at center, and that's their first 4 picks that were, I believe it was first round. I think they had 2 second-round picks or 2 third-round picks. So their first 4 picks are all addressing the needs that they have, which is offensive line and weapons for Drake May. So you have to be happy with that. They're doing
Yeah,
everything that they can to help him out.
absolutely. and it's the weapons that they got. Travion Henderson from I haven't to be honest, I didn't watch a lot of Ohio State last year, but I've had people, college fans, come up to me in the past week who hate Ohio State, and they're like, "Yeah, you guys got a good one."
Yeah,
Travion Henderson's a
yeah.
dog, bro. And then Kyle Williams, insane, insane, insane pick, especially in the third round. There's a clip of him actually. I saw it. He was uh, he was up against Travis Hunter, and he like absolutely destroyed Hunter, dude. He just flew right by him. It was like a 50-yard touchdown. It was crazy. But he's like people were saying that Williams was like he was like the second best like vertical threat outside of Hunter in the draft, and the fact that we kind of stole him in round 3 is just insane to me. They just did a really great job.
I think that's a phenomenal pickup. I mean, definitely, Ramondre Stevenson is shaking in his boots. You know, his job's at stake. He knew that after last season, and Travion Henderson really like puts his job in jeopardy. And getting Kyle Williams is just adding to that receiving core. I mean, you got some young guys like Pop Douglas, and you got Jalen Polk, and I don't know how I feel about Jalen Polk, but
Well, I feel like now, unfortunately, they might have to cut Polk and Baker because I want to get rid of Douglas because at least he has some chemistry with May
yeah,
and he's shown he can make
yep,
kind of plays. So I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know what they have too many now, but so I'm thinking they're gonna have to get rid of a couple of guys, and I don't
I'd rather
see it.
have too many than not enough. You know, that's a good problem to have, at least,
Yes, yeah, oh yeah,
right?
absolutely. If
Yeah.
they get rid of Polk and Baker, like I'm not sad.
I don't
Um,
even know who Baker is. Baker.
uh, he was a little hyped up last year. He was a I forget what round he was picked after Polk though, but people were saying that he was like the dark horse, like
Mm.
late wide receiver pick, and he just ended up so bad.
Yeah, I don't know
At
if I
least his
saw him
rookie
catch a
year.
single pass. Damn. Yeah, I mean, so now you got Diggs as the vet in the room. You got Kyle Williams coming in as the rookie. Pop Douglas been around for 2 years now, and he's just getting better every year. You got Booty. Of course, you got to have Booty
Yeah, Booty. Yeah,
just in case, because you can always use a little bit of Booty. Is Kendrick Bourne still in the mix somewhere? Is
yeah,
he
yeah.
just
Kind
hurt
of.
forever? Or I mean, I feel
What's
like
up?
I can't trust him
I
with
mean,
injuries, right?
yeah,
You know,
he's not like one of those guys. Like I'm not going into next season like, oh, I can't wait to see Bourne catch passes from May again. But like he kind of adds
yeah,
depth. He adds depth a little bit
yeah, definitely
to that
depth, yeah,
wide
and it'll
receiver room.
it'll.
So,
I'd take him over the Baker guy if I don't fucking even know who Baker is.
oh,
I'll take Kendrick Bourne. At least I know
absolutely,
who he is and what he can do when he's healthy, right?
yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, you got to have the Pats as a big, big winner from this draft for sure. And they got a kicker
Yes,
and,
which
and a
believe
kicker.
I mean, I'm not the that's like the only pick I necessarily don't really like, just because I feel like a kicker in a draft it's round 6, but I feel like a kicker in a draft
Yeah.
is just wasteless because you can just pick them up off free agency. But,
Well, not if they get drafted somewhere else. You never know. He must be really good to
yeah,
get
he is
drafted at all, you know?
he is really good, and they did need a kicker, so I'm not, like, crying about it, but, like, at the same time, I kinda feel like it was a little bit pointless, but what do
Yeah,
I
well,
know?
better than Joey Sly, you know? Anything better than Joey Sly.
That's true.
And the thing I love about the Pats draft is, you know, they addressed all their needs on the offensive side of the ball in those first 4 picks. Then they got some defensive guys, and then in the
Yeah,
late rounds they picked up another O lineman. Just
yeah.
to be safe, just for good measure, they got another O lineman after Jared Wilson and Will Campbell. I forget the guy's name, but late round pick, just in case
Marcus
things.
Bryant.
Yeah, yeah, just in case things don't work out with the other two. You know.
Yeah, so round 7, pick 220, they picked Marcus Bryant from Missouri, who is pretty good for a round 7 pick, I would say.
Mm,
But, the thing is now they have that gives them kinda a little like, a bunch of options, if, if some they can move some O linemen around if they
yeah,
really have
right,
to.
right.
The last 2 picks, Julian Ashby, and, defensive back Kobe Miner from Memphis, they kinda strike me as, like, special teams guys.
Mm,
I could maybe see 'em, being good on special teams, so
okay,
we'll see
yeah.
how that goes.
I mean, how
But,
many picks
yeah,
did they have?
overall,
They had like 11
let's
picks
see,
or
one,
something.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 11. 11
11
picks.
picks. So you got to
Yeah.
think at least one or two is going to be a hit, right? I mean, fingers crossed.
I'd like to hope so,
If you
'cause
got that many, you got to hope something's going to go right. I mean,
I hope
damn.
so.
Yeah, no, I
My
feel I feel really good about Will Campbell for sure.
Joshua Farmer, their 4th round pick, defensive tackle from Florida
Exactly. Yeah.
State, fucking dog, and,
Yeah.
I could see him turning out to be crazy too.
Yeah. The future's bright, Tony. Like you said, you're actually going to be watching the games this year.
I know, dude. It's the first time in, like, 2 to 3 years. I'm so hyped.
That's crazy. Well, but here's the thing, and I hate to, I overall I still got the Pats as winners, still everything positive, right? But listen, Drake May, rookie year, not perfect, but good, seeing some good things, right? Mac Jones, rookie year, he made the Pro Bowl,
Oh, absolutely. And
so
yeah,
rookie
he
year
turned
is
out
not
to be the
everything.
worst quarterback I've ever seen in my life. I've been I've you can
So
ask you probably know this, you can ask anyone, I've been saying this too. There's no surefire way we know if Drake May is the next guy. I mean,
absolutely.
sure, his rookie year, he had some good plays that, make us excited for the future, but, like, he's still a question mark in my opinion, like, we still don't know. There's still a lot of his game that needs to be improved on. So, I think the only thing that is making it look brighter, in my opinion, is the fact that we have Mike Vrabel now.
Hmm.
I think
Yeah.
even if for some reason May doesn't live up to the hype he has, I feel like Vrabel has a direction and where he wants this team to go, and he has a picture of he wants the players to come in, work hard, you earn your spot. That kind of he
Yep.
wants to change the culture, and so far it seems like he's doing it. And it just the way even the way they drafted this year, a lot of these guys strike me as Vrabel type guys. So I'm in a positive mindset in the way that the franchise is going right now, even with the question mark at QB.
Very well said. I love it, Tony. Got to feel good about that. Got to.
Thank you, sir.
Let's move on to my next big winner, the New York Giants, baby.
Oh yeah,
You know I gotta have them as winners too. I mean, let's just bias aside. They, uh, I'll get into it because the overall, in general, winners, right? You got the number 3 overall pick. You take the best available player, Abdul Carter, and he's an immediate difference maker. He's going to make a difference right
he's
off
a
the rip.
future Hall of Famer. He's a future Hall of
Wow.
Famer.
Okay, that I wasn't gonna go that far, right? We haven't seen him take a
Dude,
snap yet. Okay, but
he
like,
he like I said, he's gonna be like the next Micah Parsons type guy. That's how good he is.
I mean, you got to see the comparisons already. Number 11, Penn State. He's a dog. I mean, I hope he's the next Micah Parsons because shit, man. And there's a clip actually of Micah Parsons being like, "Well, the reason why I go so hard against the Giants is because they passed on me in the draft." And I'm
Mhm.
like, shit, man, we fucked up and we pissed this guy off, Micah Parsons, and he's been terrorizing us for years ever since then. So the only fair revenge to get back would be if Abdul Carter actually is a stud. And I think he absolutely will be a stud. He probably makes Kayvon Thibodeau a little bit expendable because
Yeah, I
the
think
only,
so.
my only gripe with the Giants draft and with Abdul Carter is that our pass rush really was not our weakness as a team.
No, it wasn't.
The
But
Giants had
even
the ninth most sacks last year. They're in
yeah,
the top 10 sack leaders. They had 4 interceptions on the whole year. That's the second least in the league. So where do you think that the weakness is? I think it's more in the secondary, right? On the defensive side of the ball, too. And I would say a bigger need for the Giants is offensive line. And the Giants had, let me see, I think I had it written down here. I don't have it written down, but I forget how many picks they had. They had like 6 or 7 picks. Um, one offensive lineman was taken, and that's Marcus Mbo. And
Membo,
he
yeah, yeah.
was, yeah, he was taken in one of the later rounds. I want to say he was like fourth round. But in my opinion, I think they waited way too long to take an O lineman. Obviously, you have Carter number one, and that's a good pick for where we're at. You took the best guy available, and he's definitely going to make our defense better. And I've been seeing people say like the Giants are at their best when they lead with their defense, and that's totally true. There are two different aspects of the defense too, and actually there's 3 levels of the defense, but whatever. Any defensive piece is going to help us. But waiting
Defense wins
that long,
championships in this league.
it's true. It's true. But we had a bottom two, I think, scoring offense last year. We had one of the worst offenses in the whole entire league. So
Yeah.
to spend your top pick on a defensive guy when the Giants defense wasn't the worst, they really weren't the best as far as yardage allowed. They were like middle of the pack. And points allowed, I want to say they were like, a little bit above middle of the pack. Like they had a decent defense overall. Um, but it's just like that's not. I don't know. To me, I would have liked to see. And so the thing, I'm fine with Carter, and I'm fine with Jackson Dart because I think he's probably less of a headache than Shadur Sanders would have been. My only concern is that trading back into the first round when really it would have been either the Rams picking at 26 that could have taken Dart, or it would have been the Browns at 33 taking Dart. And we were at 34. So either we moved up way too much or we did it exactly right and it's perfect. I hope that the Rams wanted him because that means we snuck right in front of him to take him. But otherwise, you're jumping like 9 picks when you only need to jump 2. So it's kind of like I don't know if they needed to jump so far to get him, but I'm happy with it. I think that we addressed the need of quarterback, huge need for us. We took the best player available with Carter, but I would have loved to see our third pick because we had 2 in the first round. We had no second round picks. I would have liked for our third round pick to have been an offensive lineman. Instead, we took Darius Alexander at, I believe it was 65 overall. And he looks like a good defensive tackle. He's got some size, good presence on the inside. We have Dexter Lawrence, the best defensive tackle in the whole entire league. Why do we need a defensive tackle? Pick an O
Yeah, that
lineman.
that didn't
For
there was
Christ's sake, pick
still
an O lineman.
that didn't make sense to me. There were
I'm like,
still parts of the Giants draft where the only reason I have the Giants as winners is because I feel like they made the right move in the beginning. I feel like the right move was to stay on the board for Abdul, and the fact that they
yeah,
took Jackson Dart over Sanders. That's why I kind of have them as winners this year.
yeah.
But outside of that, there are a lot more questionable things,
I
questionable
think they
decisions that
are
they made.
first round winners.
Early
They
winners,
they
yeah.
are they killed the first round.
Yeah.
If you're just looking at the first round, they had the best draft of anyone. It's
Uh,
after that when it starts to get more questionable. But I love Cam Scatabo in round
yeah,
4.
yeah, oh yeah, Scalabo was
Oh
an
my god,
insane
dude.
pickup. He was the main guy I had my eye on for the Pats, honestly.
When I saw that they picked him, my jaw dropped. My phone fell out of my hand. I was like, no way they got Scatabo, because I'm like, I didn't think they'd be drafting a running back, but getting him in the 4th round, I was like, bro,
Yeah,
oh my god, I was about to
crazy.
shit myself. Are you kidding me? Wild.
Also, I agree with you, another thing I didn't necessarily like, well, I like that they picked Jackson Dart, like I said, but I agree with you, I don't like how they traded up ahead. I don't think he was
Yeah.
gonna go in the 1st round.
Probably not. I don't see LA spending their first round pick on a quarterback when
Yeah,
obviously they had a whole thing with Stafford where they were going to trade him. They end up they extended him, right? So, they chose him, and it's like they didn't pick a quarterback. I don't think at all in the whole draft.
no, no, they didn't. The
So
Rams didn't.
unless they were like dead set on Dart, and it was like Dart or nobody, then they probably weren't picking him like a quarterback. So I don't know what it was that made the Giants jump that far. But also you got to think, because who picked after them? It was the Lions, Commanders, Ravens, Bills, Chiefs, Eagles. Those were the 6 teams that were left that the Giants had to leapfrog to get them. It's like none of those guys are getting
Yeah,
it.
and
They had the
you didn't
second pick. They had the second pick in the second round. The Browns had the first pick, so they must have thought the Browns would have taken him. But then you
yeah,
only need
so
to go up
you didn't have
2
to
picks.
jump that high for him.
But is Kansas City going to trade away their first round pick? Are the Eagles going to trade away their first round pick to the Giants when they see Jahad Campbell falling? Probably not. Are the Lions, Commanders, Bills, Ravens, are they going to give up their first round pick? They probably just wanted to stay put. That might have the trading with the Texans might have been the only shot that the Giants had to leapfrog the Browns. So that's probably I see that probably is why they jumped up that far, because I just don't think that the other teams wanted to budge. But again, like I'm not in those calls. How could I know? Um,
That's true.
but I
But
would
it
imagine they
just
just wanted to
seems
stay
like
put.
too much of a risk for too much of a giving up for just for Jackson Dart, though.
Yeah,
I mean, I know in my opinion, he's the better, QB that was left out of all the other ones, but I don't know, in this year's draft, the QBs in general, outside of really maybe Cam Ward, weren't too, like, crazy looking anyway, so
yeah.
I'm not really sure yet.
That actually brings me to my first loser. And I think overall, just quarterbacks in general are losers in this draft. Just the
Yeah,
quarterback position as a whole, because it just wasn't strong. So you're not seeing that, except for Cam Ward, who obviously went number 1. So he's my biggest loser, honestly, because for a few reasons. Um, being the number 1 overall pick and top back drafted, and the next best quarterback being pick 25, and then after that wasn't until later in the second round, I don't think. Um, just with Shadur sliding, and with like quarterbacks just being really like not valuable in this draft, I think that raises the bar for Cam Ward. It's like you are supposed to be leagues ahead of all these other quarterbacks. If you don't outperform all of them, then you're not meeting the expectation, because he was so far ahead of everybody else. So I think that's just making his expectation even higher. And also, he's going to the Tennessee Titans. The Titans had a bottom 5 offensive line last year. The Titans have Calvin Ridley. and that's their only weapon. And freaking Chigakonkwo, right? Like I really like it. It doesn't to me. It doesn't scream like the Titans are a win now team. It
Well, I
doesn't
don't I
feel
don't
like
see
Cam
him.
Ward's going to come in there and just do like go off. I don't think he's going to go off in his rookie season. I think he could be good with considering the circumstances, but like I don't think he's going to have a game that we've seen. And I feel like maybe we're getting a little bit spoiled with these rookies coming in and just balling out. But I think that the bar is set too high for Cam Ward to really reach it with all of this situation around him.
I don't see Tennessee doing anything next couple of years, even with Ward. But if I'm Tennessee, I mean, I kind of feel like in that situation, you have to because like you have the number one pick and you have the most important thing is a quarterback. So and Cam
Yeah,
Ward, at least for this year, it really was Cam Ward was so far above the rest of them. So if I'm Tennessee, you have to pick Ward there, but I don't see the team in general doing anything crazy for at least the next couple of years at least. Because like you said,
yeah.
they don't really have anybody.
And on top of that, they don't have any like vet quarterback in that quarterback room to like coach him up at all either. They have Will
No, I don't
Levis.
think so.
Is Tannehill still there
I
in
have
a
no
backup
idea.
role? I mean, maybe
Probably
Tannehill
not.
can mentor him, but I don't think he's seems like he fell off the face of the earth, right? Um, so let me just
Well,
the Titans allowed the fifth most sacks last year, and they had 9 draft picks this year, and they used only one of them on an offensive lineman, and that was a fifth round offensive guard. So they really and as far as I know, I could be totally wrong. They didn't make any big splash in the offensive line in off free agency, so I really don't see their O line getting that much better, which really is not going to help out Cam Ward. And yeah, I would really if you're someone that's high on him and thinks he's going to be really good, I would just be patient. Maybe, like you said, I don't think they're going to do anything right away. It might take time, you know.
yeah, you
So
have
yeah, I
to
would
be
just temper your expectations.
if you're a Titans fan, you have to be patient. There's no other way because no one you can't expect him to go in there and just turn the whole thing around. And I think
Yeah,
that's why a lot of like number one QB picks, a lot of them are busts because for the same exact reason they always go to a team like this and get
yeah,
no help. So it's a good chance that Kim Ward will be a bust. Uh, his talent alone, I think, put him is the best in the whole class. But
yeah,
he is going to a very very bad situation. So
absolutely. Yep, but we'll see. Hey, maybe just hearing us talk smack about him, use it as fuel, man. I hope he does well. I hope
me
he does because
too.
I would love to see it, but I just
Me
don't.
too.
I just got to be
Especially,
realistic.
I'm a big like Miami fan too. I really want Ward to go. I want Ward to go in there and fucking kill it, dude. Maybe maybe get him
You're
some wins
Miami
this
fan?
season for college football. Yeah,
Oh, I was like, oh my god.
I'm a
I'm
Miami
like,
Hurricanes
I'm like,
fan.
listen,
Yeah,
he's not on the Dolphins, dude.
no, no. Hey, the Dolphins though. Quinn Ewers. Did you see
Yeah,
that?
they did get Quinn Ewers.
Round
Yep,
7. That's
yep.
kinda good
So,
for a 7th round pick, honestly.
because when Tua ultimately does get another concussion, they'll have somebody. Yeah.
Yes, sir, yeah.
Who do you have as your next big winner or loser, Tony? Let's see. What do you want to talk about?
Uh,
I mean, the
s
elephant in the room.
so I one of my losers is the Atlanta Falcons because I just you draft Jalen Walker for the 15th pick, which, okay,
Yeah,
I get it, but then you trade up again in the 1st round pick to draft another and James Pierce. That just doesn't make sense to me.
No, it makes no sense. What the
Yeah, and
hell?
it's been like
What's
that for
wrong with the
them this
Falcons,
year and
bro?
last year. Yeah, last year too, it didn't. I mean, I get Michael Penix, but
Like,
it
what?
just doesn't make any sense. Like,
It makes no
you don't
sense.
have to trade up to get them.
No. I mean, I don't even know, dude. I mean,
And
would
J
the Rams have taken? Because that was the Rams pick that they traded with. Would the Rams have taken him? Would the
well,
Lions have
even if they
taken
took
him? Or
him, it doesn't matter. You already drafted Jalen
well,
Walker. Why do you need to draft
exactly.
another one?
And on top of that, later in the draft, they drafted a safety, and they drafted another safety. So they double dipped. They double dipped. Like they double dipped twice in the
Right.
same draft in positions. It's like, I
I
mean,
I don't necessarily mind it too much if you do it once later on in the draft, but I don't know, man. Round 1, and then you do it again, you get 2 safeties, just
right. I
doesn't
mean,
seem right.
yeah, just like we talked about. I mean, the Pats went O line very early, and then just at the very end, go O line just as like a contingency plan. But going back to back edge and then back to back safety, like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, what are you
Yeah.
doing? I mean, I'm not an NFL GM, but in the draft, I would want to spread out my picks and get guys at different positions, so just to add to depth across the board and not just focus on one aspect. Like, it just kind of seems like a no-brainer. But who am I
Yeah,
to say? I don't know. Like I said, I'm not the freaking GM. I'm trying to pull up their thing. They had 5 picks. The Falcons only had 5 draft picks. 2 of them were in edge rushers, 2 of them were safeties, and their 7th rounder was an offensive tackle. So you have 5 picks and you only pick 3 different positions. Like,
yeah, that's
what?
sad.
I mean, especially if you have a limited amount of picks, I feel like you would want to spread your position groups like across the board. I mean, even if it's safety and then DB, right? And I think so. The thing with Jalon Walker is he kind of has more of like a linebacker skill set. He can, I think, looking here, and it seems like he can kind of play coverage too if you needed him to. So maybe that's what they're thinking is, they get a guy who they see more as a linebacker, even though he's listed as edge, and then you get the edge rusher. But then once again, that justify the trading up?
It
And
doesn't
like,
justify the trading up into the
right, like
first
it
round
just
again for him.
I'm just trying to give them as much benefit of the doubt as possible, and I still can't really justify it. So it's like, what the hell, bro? I don't
The
know,
only
man.
benefit of the doubt I'm giving them is they're luckily playing in the NFC South with the Saints and the Panthers.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
there you
right,
go.
right. Well, they got that at least, and they still don't know what they're gonna do with Kirk Cousins and Penix. But
Well,
yeah, we'll see.
Penix is he's in my opinion, he's the definitive
Is that
starter
like
now.
official?
I'm
Is
pretty
he
sure it
officially
is.
starter?
Yeah.
I mean, I would hope so.
He should be, to be honest, because if he wasn't hurt, he was that year real quick before we get too off topic. If Penix wasn't too hurt, he would have been up there with Caleb Williams in that draft. And he
Mm,
last year when he came in, he did pretty well,
he
like
did.
barring the few chances he got, and he almost
Yeah,
brought them to the playoffs. So
very close. Yeah, he showed he put
just
some
has to
good
stay
film on tape.
healthy. He has to
Yep,
stay healthy.
absolutely.
That's it.
Yep. Sucks for Kirk. I mean, does it really though? Because he's getting a bag, but I don't know. Um,
He's
my
good enough
next,
now.
before we get to obviously the one big loser, I want to talk about one more winner, and it's kind of a two-piece. It's Travis Hunter and the Jags. I think Travis Hunter and the Jags together, they both won.
You think
Hunter,
so?
well, I mean, the Jags, I didn't look too much into their other draft picks. I can actually pull that up right now. But just with Hunter, so here's the thing: is I'm a little bit you know, let's just go over their whole draft. So they had 9 picks. They went with Hunter at 1. They got a corner in the 3rd round, offensive line, a couple offensive line guys. They got some linebackers. Bayshul Tootin had the fastest 40 time, I believe, out of any running back in this draft class. So watch out, Travis Etienne, Tank Bigsby, Bayshul Tootin. Kind of a crazy committee backfield we could see. But yeah, no, I think just overall, I think Travis Hunter, more so than the Jags, is the winner. The fact that the Jags believed in him, they traded up to get him. They traded away a 1st-round pick next year, so he better show up and show out, because obviously they are putting a lot of stock in him. But him being the caliber of player that he is, and having someone not only allow you to play both positions, because a lot of teams might be like, hey, pump the brakes, you're not doing that. Not only are they going to let him do that, but they traded up to get him because they believe in him that much. And if you watch the clip of the Jaguars GM talking about Travis Hunter, excuse me, watch the clip of the Jags GM talking about Travis Hunter and tell me you're not fired up after watching that, because he just talks about like the love of the sport, and the fact that Travis Hunter like embodies everything that they're trying to do with the sport. And I forget, I'm going to butcher the quote, but Travis Hunter like is an example of, the rules are meant to be broken. And Travis Hunter being allowed to do both sides of the ball and them supporting him in that, he's got to be a winner, because he's trying to do something that really nobody's ever done before. So going to a organization that supports you fully in that, I think he's a winner.
I mean, sure, he might, in his eyes, he might be a winner going to a team that will allow him to play both sides of the ball, but this is the NFL, man. I don't think you're not playing both sides of the ball. I'm sorry.
Not full time, I don't think. I don't think anyone expects it to be full time on both
No,
sides.
and even before he can play a little bit of both, even before he can do that, he kind of has to master one side in the
Mm.
NFL, and even that alone is a fucking tall task. I don't care what you did in college, so I don't know. I don't have the
Maybe
Jags
you're
as a
just a
loser.
hater.
I'm
Maybe
not a
you're just a
hater.
hater.
I
Maybe
don't
I'm
have
just saying
I don't
maybe.
I don't have them as a loser in this year's draft, but I don't necessarily have the Jags as a winner, because you kind of gave up a lot for Hunter, and you're kind of
That's
betting
true.
your whole but a lot of shit on this guy, and you still have a kind of questionable dude at quarterback. So I don't know.
Well, maybe the right wide receiver is going to elevate Trevor Lawrence and help him out a little bit.
Well, they already have Brian Thomas Jr. though.
Well, exactly. You got BTJ and you got freaking motherfucking Travis Hunter. I would also be concerned with their offensive line. Same thing I've been echoing throughout this whole thing.
Yeah,
They didn't
no offensive line.
they didn't
Didn't do
draft O
much to
line
address it.
until the 3rd round. They got a guard, um, and they got a center late in the 7th round. So it's like you're not doing too much there. You better hope you hit on one of those guys. They need help in that department as well. So that's kind of where if they stayed at 5, I think that's where they would have gone if they couldn't have got the 2 pick. But the Browns just did their Brown thing, and they gave up the number 2 overall pick for generational talent. I mean, maybe we look back and we say Travis Hunter kind of burned out and failed at what he did, and then years later we're like, maybe the Browns were right to trade away that pick. But yeah,
Well,
I think the Jags still have improvements to be made. He doesn't fix every problem for them, but
no.
I mean, someone said this. He's going to sell tickets. That's for sure.
That's a good point. That's
Financially,
a
they're
good
gonna.
point.
I mean, yeah, there's that, right? But I
They
think
are
he's
a
definitely.
franchise that kinda needs, like, a big name right now, so I'll give them
It's
that.
true. Yeah, yeah.
But if you're trying to win Super Bowls, man, I don't know, when I look at this move, I just look at a Jaguars team with a lot of holes, and you traded away a lot of pieces you coulda used to fill those holes for one guy who,
Mm.
historically, the one guy
Yeah,
does will
the
not make a difference for you.
Tony's frozen.
Oh, I am? Hello?
You back?
I'm back, yeah. You were frozen for a sec
Okay.
too. That was weird.
Could you hear me at all?
I heard Tony's frozen, and then that was it.
Okay, technical difficulties. Um, but anyway, I was gonna jump in and say um, on the broadcast, I was watching the draft broadcast just for the first couple picks, and they said the Jags take Travis Hunter, and the announcer said they got two for the price of one because he plays both positions. But they gave up two first round picks to get him, so they really paid two for the price of two. So really, like, you better hope that he can play both sides, because if he can't, then you definitely overpaid for him. So it is kind of a double edged sword, and if it works, it's going to be the best move ever, and if it doesn't, it's going to be the worst move ever. So we'll see
Even
how it goes. I have high hopes.
I don't know, man. Even if it works though, and he ends up a stud, I don't see the Jaguars. I don't see the team still being good enough to even be a deep like playoff team
Mm,
because you still have so many
man,
holes. I
man.
don't. I don't think one amazing position player at wide receiver or cornerback makes a big difference for a team that has so many holes already. If you're a
So
team that's kind of close to a Super Bowl, like maybe like the Bills or something like that, which obviously they never would have been able to get them because they were too
right,
high.
right, of course,
But those kind of teams are the teams that really benefit from a player like that going into their organization.
sure.
I don't think for the Jaguars it makes that much of a difference.
I mean, yeah, no, I mean, but I think the thing that I'm trying to say about them being winners as an organization, in addition to just Hunter, like obviously Hunter himself is a winner. He got drafted number 2 overall, but like listening to their GM talk about him, they have a new coach. I don't know if the GM's new or if he's the same GM. But either way, I think there's been some staff changes there. You're pretty far removed from Urban Meyer at this point, and that was a dark time.
Oh yeah.
But just the way they're talking about Hunter and the way they're kind of getting them fired up and stuff, like it kind of gives me hope for some of the leadership, in their front office, in addition to just him as a player. So maybe it doesn't happen this year, but I think just like seeing that and listening to that way, like that has to make you feel good. The Liam Cohen thing, the Duval, that doesn't make you feel good, but the GM talking makes you feel good. That's just my opinion on the stuff going on.
Real quick, by the way,
But
the GM for the Jags is James Gladstone, first season for as
okay,
their GM. And he comes from the
okay, there you
Rams,
go, there you go. And he's coming from the Rams. I don't know
which
how
is
long he was with the Rams, but Super Bowl winning
2016 to
organization.
24. Yeah, he won a Super
So
Bowl.
he won a Super Bowl with the Rams as the GM, and
No,
he looks really young.
not as their GM. He was on their staff, but
Oh,
he wasn't
oh,
their
okay,
GM.
okay.
Yeah, no.
So sorry. Then
No, you're
he
good.
wasn't the GM, but he was in the building, and he had some contribution. He's at least been around what it takes to be a Super Bowl team. So that's huge, right? Like, I mean, and then you hear him talk like that, and you're like, okay, he's got championship experience. Obviously, talks about this guy this way. If he's bought in, at least, you gotta. I don't know. It feels like good things could come from this organization in the future.
No, yeah.
Hopefully.
He was a good pickup as a GM, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good choice. Yeah. But yeah, let's move on to. I think I only have one left, and it's a loser, and it's Shadur Sanders. Finally, we're going to talk about the
Oh,
elephant in the room the whole
The
time,
Cleveland Browns too, man.
and the Browns as an
I don't even
organization.
care.
Yeah,
They're a fucking loser too.
no, absolutely. Trading away the number 2 overall pick, we just talked at length about how Travis Hunter could be like a generational guy. You gave up your chance to have him. You trade back to number 5. You take a defensive tackle. Okay, he's probably the best D tackle in the draft. Okay, sure.
He was a good pick
Same,
at 5, yeah.
yeah, for sure, absolutely. But you were at 2.
Right.
That's the thing. For if
Right.
it's 5, if the Jags took him, sure, great pick. But you're at 2. You gave up 2. I mean, we'll see what happens next year if the Jags still stink and the Browns end up with the number 1 overall pick that they got from the Jags, kind of like a Bears Panthers situation. If the Browns end up getting Arch Manning out of the deal, like, I mean, I got to give them that, right? That's pretty good. But that's a long-term thing, so you don't know how that's going to pan out. But that whole thing is like, it just right now it seems really stupid. And then drafting Shadur Sanders like late is a good value pick because obviously Shadur was mocked as the number 2 overall pick at first, at least. People had him really high. So, I mean, Shadur's a good player. Like, he might have been overrated from the very start because of the hype around Colorado and Deion Sanders and the whole like the prime time brand, and Shadur's got the whole legendary thing and the perfect timing and the song and all this stuff around him, right? That kind of hyped him up. Maybe that's why he was listed as the number 2 pick for a while. And I think he was probably overrated from the jump. Falling all the way to the 5th round, 144 overall, that seems pretty drastic and pretty absurd. So the fact that the Browns got him with that pick is a pretty good value, I'd say. But then you kind of like drafting Dylan Gabriel
It doesn't
before,
make any sense.
it doesn't make any sense.
It's typical Cleveland Browns nonsense.
Yeah,
Why would you draft
exactly.
Dylan Gabriel just to draft Shadur the day after? It doesn't make any
Right.
sense.
It makes no sense.
I actually am more I think Shador is more of a winner and the Browns are the bigger loser because my thing is at least Shador went somewhere where he has a chance where he could maybe compete for the starting job. Because they got
Mm,
as of right now, the Browns got 5 QBs. They got Pickett, Deshaun Watson, who's not going to be around for the preseason because of
right.
injuries. Joe Flacco is really the biggest target that Shador will probably have to battle for the starting job
Yep.
if he can beat out Dylan Gabriel in the preseason. But the preseason, because Deshaun Watson with his injuries and all that isn't going to be around, it's really going to be a lot between Gabriel and Sanders as to who gets most of the reps for a lot of those early practices. So
Yeah.
I think Shador, at least he gets drafted by a team where he has a chance to play, especially since he dropped all the way to round 5. It was clear that no team
Yeah.
wanted him.
Yeah.
So it could have been worse for him. I mean, it is the Cleveland Browns, and any QB that gets drafted there, they don't deserve to be drafted by the Browns. I'm sorry, no one deserves to be drafted by the Browns, but
They don't have a good history now.
at least you have a
Never
shot
goes
at
well.
playing, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's probably a good thing for him. Um, so here's the thing. I mean, total sidebar. If you watch That's Good Sports, amazing football YouTube channel, has some really good, insightful analysis. Has a whole video about Shadur Sanders and his draft slide. Deion Sanders is your father. Deion Sanders was a freak athlete. He played both sides of the ball. Like, he was insane. And he had his doubters and his haters in his time. And he had to develop that thick skin of like, screw you, haters. Screw you, doubters. I'm going to go do my thing. And he did it because he was a freak athlete. Shadur isn't such a freak athlete, but he learned the same mentality from Deion of fuck the haters, okay? But I think like Shadur didn't develop the ability to take that constructive criticism that he kind of needed, because he's really not like in that upper level. So I think when we talk about like, oh, Shadur like bombed his interviews, his draft interviews, and like, that's why he slid. I think it's probably like I said, he was overvalued from the very beginning.
Yeah,
He was
absolutely.
never really like that good, but the fact that he thought he was much better than he actually was and couldn't admit that he had any faults or anything like that, as opposed to a guy like Jalen Milroe, who was like literally listing all of his weaknesses in his draft interviews. Teams like that with rookie quarterbacks, teams want to see that you have an awareness of your own skill set and you know that you need to improve. Shadur, from everything that we've heard, obviously we're not in those interviews, but from everything we've heard, Shadur really never gave anybody the impression that he was ready to work on improving himself. They just assumed, or he just assumed that, his tape would speak for itself and people would just bow down to him, basically. Or at least that's kind of the vibe that we got. So I think it's probably, like you said, Shadur's kind of a winner, because I think this is going to like take him down a peg in a sense and be like, oh, I'm not going to come in and be able to dictate the whole situation and be the day one starter. You hear them when they called Shadur Sanders, they told him, you're going to have to earn your job. You're going to have to compete. Like you said, this could be a good thing for him because he has to compete
I
and
think
work
that's
and
perfect for
improve
him.
to get the job.
Yeah, I
So
think that's what exactly what he needed, honestly.
exactly, absolutely,
And the great thing long term about it is that you have to compete, but at least you're going to a team where you look at the QB roster and you have a chance at least. So I think
yeah,
it's almost perfect for him outside of it being the Cleveland Browns, obviously.
right,
But I
yeah.
think,
Take
for
away the
him it's as good
logo,
as it gets. Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Take away the franchise and just look at the situation aside from the orange helmet, and just say, these are the guys I have against me. Show them what you got. If you're really that good as you say you are, and as you present yourself, then show them how good you are. Then earn the job, beat out Joe Flacco. I mean, really, like you said, I think that's his biggest competition after Dylan
It's
Gabriel.
definitely Joe Flacco, yeah.
Yeah,
Joe
Flacco.
Flacco in general. 'Cause I feel like they might, the Browns might they feel like he's their safety blanket kinda, so they
Yeah,
might start Flacco, and it
I
might
think
take them a
Flacco
while to get
starts,
off him. Yeah, I think so too.
and I think
But
Shadur has to fight to be the backup.
if that was my next thing. If you can
Yeah,
beat out Dylan Gabriel in the preseason though, that's huge. That's your main thing. You gotta go into the season, you have to beat out Dylan Gabriel,
yeah,
because if you
yeah,
don't, there's a good chance he might be getting cut, so
yep. And one more thing that I want to touch on this just real quick before we move on. Um, Shadur didn't have an agent.
I
Shadur
got
and
yeah,
Silo, or not Silo, Shiloh.
Shiloh, yeah.
Shadur and Shiloh, they didn't have agents. Dion
Yeah,
was their agent. And obviously, like we just talked about, this whole thing with Dion and Shadur and the inability to take criticism. And the fact that Dion already is like in with all of the, owners and GMs and people around the league, like no one wants to piss Dion off and be like, yeah, maybe your son's not that good. So maybe they're not being fully honest in evaluating him, or like the agent is kind of the middleman and the truth teller. The agent can go to the team and be like, hey, this is who my guy is, my client. This is who he is straight up. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. Dion's probably sugarcoating the fuck out of that shit and being like, "No, my son, you need to do." You don't know. I think just the whole it just complicates the whole situation
That's
when your
definitely
dad
a big
is your
reason why he
agent.
dropped, is because the,
Yeah,
teams don't wanna deal with the headache with his dad.
right.
Understandably so. I don't blame him. I don't blame
Yeah,
him.
and as soon as Shiloh hired an agent, he got picked up,
I was gonna
undrafted
say
free
the,
agent. Right.
Buccaneers picked him up. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and
Which
he
is good.
was actually really good for Colorado. And you see the
Yeah, that
stats of he had the fourth most turnovers of any defender in the draft or something or along those lines. Like he was a
mhm.
good player.
Yeah, that's a good undraftable, like, free agent pickup that the Bucks just got.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be. I mean, just imagine if Shiloh is the one who's more successful in the league than Shadur, and it's just
It's a good
it's funny
possibility.
because it's totally a possibility, and it's just like all the attention's on Shadur right now. Honestly, last minute, I'm adding Shiloh Sanders to my winner list because his expectations are really low. Undrafted free agent,
Yeah,
all the
yeah,
eyes are on your brother. They're not on
yeah,
you. He's kind of taking all the attention and the expectations. So he's like, just he can be a little more free that way. Shiloh, I
mhm.
think I think he could be pretty good for the Bucks. But
And,
yeah,
real quick before we move on,
go ahead.
this is just funny, but did you see that, like, this is a rumor, obviously, but supposedly a big, like, thing that turned off teams was, when, Shadur told them, like, none of his teammates showed up to his birthday party.
What?
This is true. None of his teammates
He
showed up to his birthday party, and
why not?
I guess he told, like, the NFL teams that in the draft interview, and
Mm,
it turned a lot of them off.
I mean, okay, I could see it. I could see it. It kind of makes sense. If your teammates aren't supporting you, then why, it kind of shows the kind of leader you might be. Could be, you
Yeah.
know. I could see it, Something in those interviews, man, must have fucking I mean, you see the memes of Shadur must have been coming in there just totally
Oh,
not
he
not
fucked it up.
flamboyant, just obnoxious and yeah, I mean, you read the report about the Giants. I guess he came in and Brian Daboll, you saw it on Hard Knocks, how he kind of goes through. I mean, I would expect this from anybody, but you're gonna go through actual football shit, draw up the play, call out the signals, and do your cadence and all that, and you better be prepared for those draft interviews because it's real intense shit. It's actual game shit that you're gonna be doing once you get to that team. And I guess Shadur wasn't prepared for it. And I mean, I think it goes Shadur wasn't prepared. Dayball was upset that Shadur wasn't prepared, called him out on it. Shadur was upset that he got called out on it. Dayball now upset that he got. It's just like a cycle of making each other upset. Clearly, it was not a good interview, and they don't. I mean, obviously,
And then
Dayball
Shadur
really
continues to wear Giants cleats after.
did he? What?
Yeah. Yeah, he was wearing, like,
Because he's
Giants
just
cleats,
oh
so
my god. See, it's this stuff. It's the little stuff that we talk about that just stacks up, and it's all of that combined that makes teams just really not interested.
That's why team yeah,
Yeah,
that's why he fell so deep. I agree
yeah.
100%.
Now people try to make it as if I mean I heard something about owners colluding like, oh, we're gonna not no, take him off your draft board. Nobody draft this guy. Like everyone coming to an agreement to make him to force him to slide or something. I don't know about that. I don't think it's
No,
collusion. I really don't. Like, no, I mean it seems like he slid a little bit further than he should have, but that feels extreme. I don't know about that
I
one, man.
agree too, because they were like during the draft, like a lot of the first round was even in the first round there were guys talking. They were like, "How is Shadur falling this deep? I can't believe this. Something strange is
Yeah,
going on." And it's like, no, not really. It's just the talent that he has wasn't worth a first round pick, and a lot of teams agree.
yeah.
So
I'm not too surprised he slid out of the first round
I'm not
all,
surprised he
all
slid
the
out
way
of the
to the
first round
fifth.
at all.
To the
To the
fifth
fifth, a
though
little bit,
feels like a
yeah.
little too far. But there was not a whole lot of teams that really needed a quarterback that bad. Like there's only a handful.
Yeah. There realistically should have been more, but you're right, like, there weren't a
I
lot of
mean,
teams interested this year.
the Steelers ended up getting Will Howard late, but it seems like they are pretty certain Rodgers is going to go there once he gets
Wow.
over
I fucking hope
whatever
so
he's
for them
doing.
now because they have no other plan
I mean,
now.
they're pretty much
Rodgers their guy, so
they're acting as if he's already there pretty much because they're really not addressing the issue in the
right.
draft, really. I mean, Will Howard just won a national championship with Ohio State, so there's that, but he doesn't strike me as the quarterback of the future. But who
Right.
knows? I think they take a gamble on him, ride it out for a year with Rodgers, and then see where they end up next year.
Mhm.
But yeah, so that's a pretty comprehensive draft recap there. Spent an hour on that, so I feel like we should move on and talk about the NBA playoffs a little bit. Where do you want to start, Tony? Where you want to start?
I'll start with the Celtics, I guess. I
I
mean,
like that idea.
closed quick, gentleman's sweep there by the Boston Celtics. 4-1, I called it 4-1.
Dropped one that we probably shouldn't have dropped.
Which is yeah, it's not the biggest deal.
It's okay. It's all right. I'll live with it because the Pistons forced a game six, and
Yeah,
because whoever wins that series is gonna have to obviously
they have
they
to
won't
play
have as much
Boston.
rest. Well,
Yeah,
yeah, they'll be playing Boston, and Boston will have more rest before they have to play. So, um, I'm okay with dropping a game because their series is going at least to six. So obviously, at the time of filming, whoa, holy shit, the Rockets are up at halftime, 49-76. They have
oh,
a
let's go.
27-point lead on the Warriors right now. So obviously, a couple games still to be decided in the first round. But as of last night, the Celtics are on to the semis. The Pacers are on to the semis. Crazy finish to that game. Holy shit. You got
What with like Halliburton's dad and Giannis going
well,
at it?
just the fact it went to overtime, which was nuts because
Yeah,
Gary.
that
I
was
was
nuts.
watching the game and I'm like, are we gonna have like Gary Payton as like the savior of the Bucks? It was just weird. He came out of nowhere and I think he had three pointers in overtime, and that was the reason why the Bucks were up by like 7 points with a minute left or something. And I'm like, damn, the Bucks are gonna force game six, right? Like same way Pistons did. And I'm like, damn, this is crazy. And Halliburton just puts the team on his back, man. He just went crazy. He's driving on Giannis too for the game-winning layup. Like wild, crazy, crazy finish. Um, I think Tyrese. I think it struck me as such an aura farming moment that Tyrese Halliburton like stood up on the scorers table and was like, "Yeah, yeah," like looking out at the fans. Because I'm just thinking he's just trying to get that picture. There's a picture somewhere with him looking out at the big sea of fans, and I'm like, normally I'd say that he has aura for that, but I don't know. It just kind of felt like he like
If
kind of started. He almost fell over too, and I'm like, I don't think it's as much aura as you think it is, you know. But hey,
yeah,
they
I
finished the
mean,
series, so that is aura in general.
a playoff series win is always a great thing, but I don't
Yeah,
think in the long run it's gonna matter much for them.
yeah,
I
because
don't
now
think
they
they're
play
gonna go out
Cleveland.
soon. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Cleveland's gonna win that, so
Yep. Yeah,
one and
definitely.
done.
I totally think that Cleveland will win.
Mhm.
Probably. I mean, I don't know.
I
You got to
say
start thinking
Cleveland
about
in
like
6.
probably 6 or 7.
Mhm.
I'd take Cleveland and yeah, I'd take Cleveland in 6. The West is where things are really more up in the air. You got the Nuggets and the Clippers. Denver's up 3-2 right now. They got game 6 coming up. The Timberwolves and the Warriors have a chance tonight to close it out. And that means that we would see Timberwolves Warriors in the second round, which would be a phenomenal matchup. I mean, dude, the way that Anthony Edwards is just, I mean, someone said that he's like collecting legends like they're Infinity Stones. I mean, last year, did they sweep the Suns with Kevin Durant? And
Mhm.
now he's taken on Luca and LeBron and the Lakers and just really fucking spanking them, dude. Like dropping 43 points. He's just going nuts against them. So super cool to see because Anthony Edwards is like one of my favorite young players, and he is so young. So we're gonna see a lot more of him in the coming years. I mean, people talk about who the face of the NBA is, the new face of the NBA. I feel like it's Ant Edwards. He's next up, man. He's not even next up. He is right now. He is up right now. You know, he's
I
showing people what he's made of.
I think he's coming up. I think he will eventually be the face, but I don't know about right
Yeah.
now because you still got Jokic, Shea.
Well, yeah, and I think that the Timberwolves probably if they play the if the Timberwolves play the Warriors in the next round and
Uh,
Edwards beats Curry and then they play the Thunder in the conference finals. I mean, definitely the Thunder I have going to the finals, so
yeah, me
if
too.
Ant, loses out to Shea, it's still early and he has chance for redemption, but that's going to oh my god, that's going to be a crazy crazy matchup. If that's the conference finals matchup, I'm gonna fucking go nuts, dude. Fucking crazy. But I mean, those are two of the faces of the NBA, Shea and Ant, and that's a
Mhm.
matchup. Well, because Shea is really young too, so
Yeah.
we'll probably see them match up in the playoffs quite a bit in the next few years. I'm super excited, man. The future of the NBA is bright. It really is.
Yeah, I think the Shea and Ant is gonna end up being one of those, like, big all-time, like, rivalries, like,
Just like
between
freaking
those 2 players.
Magic and Bird, baby.
Yeah,
Same
kinda,
thing.
yeah.
Yep. I mean, and just like disappointment for the Lakers.
I was just gonna say
The way,
RIP to the Lakers, man.
yeah, like
I mean,
so
good,
hyped up.
I don't want their fucking ass in the playoffs.
No, I kind of want to see them go too. I mean, it sucks because LeBron gets so much love and so much glazing, and it's like it's all actually so justified because Bron is like the goat. So to be like rooting against Bron at this point is like, all right, he's I do want to see Bron succeed, but I've just seen it so much. You know, I love LeBron, but it's like, come on, it's a young man's game. It's time
Well,
to pass the
I
torch.
will say, I don't know about you, but when you watched the series, did he kinda seemed, like, old to me, like, when I was watching him play. It was, like, the first time I've seen it. Like, he
Yeah,
just looked
at
old and
times.
slow.
Yeah, at times, and definitely like he can contribute like only on one end of the floor. Sometimes it's like, I mean, in the fourth quarter of the last Lakers game that they had when the Wolves beat them, LeBron put up 0 points in the fourth quarter,
Oh, he was terrible in that quarter. I remember because I watched that too.
but he did have a couple blocks. So he's like still out there and still giving effort, but just like, and I think I forget how many minutes he played, but he was out on the court for a long time. And the Lakers aren't like deep enough to really give him that much rest. And I
Hmm.
think him being out there for so long is really to his detriment now because of his age. He can't be out there for the minutes that he probably was when he was on the Heat and the Cavs, you know, like in his early days. So they just can't run him into the ground. That's the thing. He is old. He's still amazing when he's fucking well rested and he's healthy and he's good to go. But he can't be out there for 40 plus minutes, man. Like it's not sustainable. But they really don't have anybody that can back him up. They really don't have any size. The Lakers have no size. They have no
Well,
big
that
man,
yeah,
no center,
that's what we've been saying.
no
They
real
don't have any
center.
depth.
And we talked about this. Yeah, we talked about this, and they really don't have the size. Um, and Jackson Hayes, they can't play him because he just like sucks, dude. He sucks so bad. And I think he's their one guy who's like center or playing center for them or whatever you would call center. Um, but yeah, they are on the struggle bus. I mean, obviously they have superstars, Luca and Braun and Austin Reeves even to some extent, but Reeves really hasn't contributed like too much. You know, you haven't seen him take over a game in the playoffs. He took the game ending or the final shot of the game that would have won it or that would have tied it up, but he missed it. So fucking can't really say shit about that. You know, it's just
Yeah, he hasn't been much of a
it,
factor as I thought he would be.
yeah. And if they had more depth, I think that he could be. I don't know,
Yeah.
and it feels weird to say because he is the third option, so he's really not supposed to do anything crazy, but they need someone to step up when Braun and Luca can't take the game over. I mean, they were doing a good job. Like Luca scored 38 in that game. Braun scored 27. So they're having good performances, and I'm watching the game and I'm like the Lakers were ahead for a good portion of the game. It kind of went back and forth. And I don't know, it was just like if it wasn't for that foul at the very end, everybody would have been talking about how amazing Luca was and how it clutch Braun was with his blocks, you know. But it just small plays. It can only be one play sometimes at the end of a game that just changes the course of history. So people are talking about this game and this series in a totally different way just based off of a couple small plays at the end of the game. Luca is obviously phenomenal, but the Wolves had the answer for it. They were able to clutch it out in the end. It wasn't Luca that put the game-winning shot up because they locked him down, and now that just happened at the end of the game. Fine, score 40 in the game, score 60. I don't give a fuck, but you're not taking that last shot when we're up by 3. You know.
Mm.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know, fucking. I'm, and I said it, Tony. I said it. I predicted this shit
You did.
that the Wolves would come out swinging. I did,
Yeah, you did.
Mark. I told you. I told you. And I said the
I
same thing
know.
about the Warriors too.
Yeah,
The
you did.
Wolves and the Warriors. I told you about both of them, right?
Rockets at least giving me some hope right now, but yeah, you've been spot
Yeah.
on with every the way you predicted every series. You were spot on with. Nothing has gone out of what you've predicted. So,
What can I
what do you
say? What
what do
can I
you
say?
see if you see Warriors and Timberwolves? Who do you see winning that? Who do you think goes to the West? Because we know it's going to
Um,
be OKC.
yeah, it's definitely OKC. I mean, because they could either. I mean, so real quick with OKC, they're either going to play the Nuggets or the Clippers, which
Nuggets or
that series,
Clippers.
huh? Yeah, Nuggets or
Yeah.
Clippers. I mean, Denver's up 3-2 now. I see that going to 7.
Yeah, me too.
Um, that's still a toss up for me. I want to take the Clippers. It's kind of tough right now, but if it's the Nuggets, I don't know. But whatever. The fact it's going to 7 games, like I said with Boston, OKC's going to be well rested, and they're going to fucking destroy whoever they get.
I think so too. I think if it's the Nuggets, the Nuggets might steal a game from OKC, but I don't see OKC giving up more than two losses to that series. So
Yeah, I think OKC takes it in 6, regardless who it
yeah,
is, because Nuggets I feel could win a couple games just in the
just
end
because it's
because they
it's
just
Jokic
it's
and
Jokic
shit.
and it's just guys that have like I think we talked about this before too, just like the championship mentality. Because I mean, Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray were all on that championship team. They know how to get it done in the playoffs. So definitely the same way that they're taking down games in the Clippers, despite like they're not quite the same caliber of players when you got like Harden and Kawhi and guys like that. But the Nuggets have the players that have been in those situations that know how to do stuff like that and win games. So that's why the Nuggets are leading right now, I think. And I could see them winning that. But I definitely think OKC takes it against either one of those teams. And then, I mean, I think the T Wolves close out the game against the series, I should say, against the Lakers tonight. And it looks like the Rockets are going to force a game 6. So the Warriors will be a little bit beat up and less rested than the Timberwolves, I think. And I think I'm going to take the Timberwolves because
Me
just
too.
fucking Ant Edwards, man, just he's just a
Uh,
beast.
After what he's done against the Lakers, I can't see how they go into Golden State and lose. I really don't.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Golden State's defense is pretty tough because I mean, but the Lakers are tough too. They got a
Yeah,
tough defense. They're known for tough defense, and um, yeah, I think it's going to come down to Ant Edwards being able to, like we talked about this before too, is him being able to facilitate as well and play a brand of basketball that isn't like hero ball or isn't just me ball. And we've seen it a couple times. I want to say in Ant's 43-point game, he also had, I want to say 8 boards and 8 assists or somewhere around there. He had close to a triple double. But he's contributing. All of this is to say he's contributing in more ways than one, and he's playing an unselfish brand of basketball. So let me just pull it up real quick just so I get the right stat. So he had 43 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. He had um, so yeah, 6 assists. You know, good enough. And I think like it's going to come down to when teams like focus in on Edwards, is he going to be able to get it to other people and turn his teammates into a threat so people will focus more on them and give him open looks? Is he going to get the ball to Naz Reid, who can knock down threes? Is he going to get it to Jaden McDaniels? Is Jaden McDaniels going to knock his shots down? Rudy Gobert really doesn't do jack shit on offense, but he does get boards. So if Rudy Gobert can just play his role and get the boards and kick it out, I think they'll be good. I don't know. I'm kind of glazing the Timberwolves right now, but I really think that they have a chance to go to the conference finals and take on the Thunder.
well, the way that they're playing this series against the Lakers, if they just continue to do the same thing, they're fine.
Yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. Honestly,
Because
I think they'll be all right.
he's shown like Ant has shown like in that series that it's a little different from last year. He is facilitating the ball a little bit more.
Yeah,
So it seems like he's on a good track and seems like he knows better this time around. So I think they have a very good shot of beating the Warriors, and I think it's
Yeah,
OKC and it's Minnesota, and then Cleveland and Boston in the East.
yeah, I like it. I definitely think so. I mean, Cleveland's probably going to beat the Pacers. Celtics
Yeah,
will probably beat whoever they get. I mean, do you
the
think the
Knicks.
Pistons have a chance to take the Knicks to Game 7 and win?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say the Pistons are completely out of it. I mean, they have a shot. It's uh they're down 3-2, so they win the next game. It's pretty much a flip of a coin. But
Yep.
I think the Knicks still take it. Uh
Yeah.
yeah,
I
I
mean,
think the
it'll be
Knicks still take it
so they got Game 6 in Detroit and they got Game 7 back at MSG.
in New York, yeah.
So obviously the Knicks couldn't close it out at MSG in Game 5, you know. But there was a big thing. I didn't watch the game myself, but I watched a little recap of it. And Tom Thibodeau, the Knicks coach, is infamous for just like we talked about with LeBron, just running players into the ground. I mean, Josh Hart has had multiple games where he plays every single minute. And props to Josh Hart for being super durable and, great. I love that about him. And, he's a player that I like. Um, but Brunson, I don't think can handle that much workload because I think the thing that really hurt the Knicks in that last game, just based off of um, you know reviews and stuff of the game, recaps of it, is they Brunson like twisted his ankle or something and had to sit on the bench. And if Brunson's on the bench, they got nothing going. Karl Anthony Towns was pretty much shut down for that game. He had like 17 points. So if Cat's not doing it and Brunson's on the bench, you don't have much going on offensively there. So
Yeah.
if for the Knicks to win, they pretty much have to do that thing where they run Brunson into the ground and they run Cat into the ground and all these guys. But it's like you can't be doing that and expect your guys to stay healthy because obviously Brunson rolling ankles, freaking he had an injury right before the playoffs. So you got to be careful with these guys and not have them freaking tearing ACLs out there. Don't want to freaking bring up memories of bad shit, you know? So
Mm.
that could be a detriment. And if they play Brunson too much or if he gets kind of twisted up before going to play the Celtics, like, dude, you're fucked. It's going to be a repeat of
Yeah.
last year where it was just the banged up Knicks versus the Celtics. And, I want to see the Celtics beat a healthy Knicks team. And we talked about this where if the Celtics go on to win a finals this year, no asterisk. No asterisk. The Magic had Banchero for all 5 games, and they still won. So no excuses there. They wanted Boston. They got Boston. And we're going to see if the Knicks can stay healthy and see if Boston can take them down. I think the Knicks win against the Pistons, but we'll see. Pistons are freaking physical, dude. And they're like sloppy. I'm watching the series and I'm like, it's just sloppy basketball from both teams. Just turning the ball over, just like fucking. They get the
But
ball and
at
they're
least
like,
at least the Pistons kind of have an excuse though, because they're kind of newish team.
yeah,
The
yeah.
Knicks realistically should know better by now.
I expect it from the Pistons, and it is more egregious on the Pistons side, but I think it's a little bit contagious at times because I don't know if the numbers really support this, but just watching, not only are the Pistons kind of just throwing the ball wherever, but the Knicks sometimes are either inbounding the ball or just like throwing it without an awareness that there's a defender coming to get it already. Like I don't know,
Just
it's
just
just like there's
careless basketball. That's all
yeah,
that is.
it's careless and it's sloppy
And
is
that's
what
how
I've been getting when watching the games.
the Celtics before they won the championship last year. That's how I felt watching them a lot in the playoffs
Mm,
too. It's just that
yeah,
shit that pissed me off so much.
but they've
Just
cleaned it
watching
up.
stupid mistakes.
They've
Yeah. Oh
cleaned it up.
yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
And I will say one more thing about the Celtics. Um, it's a little bit concerning. Dropping one game against the Magic is fine, but it's a little concerning. Even in that last closeout game, the Celtics didn't have a single three in the first half. And obviously, losing that game where you got held to 93 points, 90 something points, it just kind of is showing to me that they are a little bit vulnerable.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely. When they
and
when they don't shoot the three well, they're such a worse team
yeah,
than realistically what they should be.
yeah,
And they take up a lot of stupid fucking shots.
right. And
Especially Tatum.
yeah, dude. Oh my god, it's
Dude,
sometimes it's like, oh my god, what are you doing?
he keeps shooting up threes. They don't go in all night. They don't go in. And he just keeps doing it. And it's like, dude, it's not working. What are you fucking doing? Drive the ball in. Do
Just
something
give
else,
up,
bro.
bro. Yeah, try something else. Give something else another go.
Yeah.
But I watching the Magic and watching them like defensively is they're kind of like the Thunder in a way defensively. I don't know the stats or the ratings, but the Magic are one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. I know that the Thunder are also one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. The difference is the Thunder has the offense to back it up as well.
Yeah, the
So not
Magic
only do
don't.
they, I mean, just take the Grizzlies blowout as an example, like holding a team to 80 points and also scoring 130.
Yeah.
Like you can being able to do both of those things. The Celtics didn't display that at all in this series, and the Magic are like a suffocating, swarming defensive team, just like the Thunder are. But the Thunder can score a lot more. So it kind of scares me. If the Thunder are able to Celtics under 100 points, then I think they're going to be they're going to really have a chance. The Thunder will of winning the finals when that comes around. It's just
Yeah.
it's just
You
scaring me a
remember
little bit
what I
more.
said. I still think the
No, yeah,
Thunder are winning all this year, man.
yeah. No, I know what you said, and I still am rooting for Boston. I still think it's going to be Boston. I'm just a little worried, just a bit, just a little bit,
It should
a
be
little worried.
Boston because they have the deepest team in the league, but
Yeah, I mean,
I
the
don't know.
Cavs are going to be a tough challenge too.
Yeah,
They
they
really
are.
are because they have that
Yeah.
defense too. They have the size inside with fucking Evan Mobley, defensive player of the year, Evan Mobley, and goddamn Jared Allen fucking pisses me off. But yeah, that's going to be tough. That's going to be listen, we'll take it one game at a time, one series at a time. We'll focus on the Knicks for now, but the Cavs are going to be really fucking tough. I'm a little bit shook there too. So we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, it goes well for the Celtics.
I hope so because I at least had them getting out of the East. So
Yeah, yeah, same. Obviously,
I hope they don't fucking lose to the Cavs. That's just an even fucking bigger punch to my fucking nutsack than originally thought.
I think your nutsack is going to be just fine
Okay, good.
either way.
Because I can't afford another hit. So
Yeah, you already lost one ball.
yeah.
Now you only have two. Anyway, that's all I got for NBA. I think
Yeah, that's
anything
it. I
else you
think we
want
got
to
it all.
anything else you want to talk about, Tony? Wrap it up and leave our lovely audience with some words of wisdom.
Okay, words of wisdom. If your football team sucks, I'm sorry. I know how much it hurts. Um, but just remember that it will end. Your team will be good again someday. It might be in 80 years, but they will be good again someday.
Unless you're the Browns.
Unless you're, yeah, if you're, I don't even know why you watch football if you're a Cleveland Browns fan, but
There's no hope
hey,
for you.
yeah, sorry, buddy. I would pick a new team. You don't personally know any Browns fans, do you?
No, I don't.
Okay,
No,
because I've only
not
met one in
personally.
my whole life. It was one of my bosses, like when I
Are they a
used to
sad
work retail.
person?
What's up?
Are they a sad person in
Uh,
general, or
no, he was generally pretty chill and funny.
well, that's good.
Uh,
Okay, so there's
Yeah,
there is hope.
I don't
You,
know.
even well, I think the wisdom here is even if your team does suck, you can still be happy. You just
Uh,
won't. You just not in a football context. In a life context, you can still find happiness in other things, just not football.
no. Football,
So
if the Patriots suck,
there's
my
hope.
fall season sucks.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's gonna bring down your whole mood. But hey, there's the off season. You always got the off season. Yeah,
That's true.
and that the off season is great because you're just thinking about how good you're gonna be next year because it's all in your head in the off season, right? And then they come back and it's like, oh shit, they're just the same as they were last year. God damn it, fuck. You know?
Are you foretelling us what about the Giants right now?
Am I what?
Are you like telling us the future about the Giants right now? Because it
No,
kind
I'm
of
telling
sounds
the
like
no, I'm telling the
because
future about the Pats.
I don't know, man.
No,
Uh,
I'm not telling the future, but I'm retelling the past because there have been times where I'm like, oh, this I think this is gonna be good. At least, I feel like some things are gonna change. With like Jalen Hyatt was a guy who was like, okay, he's fucking fast. He can run some deep routes. Like this is gonna be great. But guess what? Daniel Jones is throwing him the ball, so he can't go fucking deep. And they didn't fucking put him on the field at all anyway.
oh
Like
my
he
god.
barely saw the field his rookie year. So there's like things like that. It's like, okay, great. Jackson Dart looks pretty good right now. I'm happy with it right now. But when he finally takes the field, is he just gonna fucking suck booty cheeks? Are they even gonna let him play on the? Are they just gonna start Russell Wilson and wait till he gets hurt to start Jackson Dart, or like, because there's still a lot of question marks. I'm just kind of like, yay, Cam Scattaboo, yay, Jackson Dart, yay, Abdul Carter. But what happens when Scattaboo fucking tears his ACL in the second week,
Well,
or
you still have
fucking, you
Tyrone
know,
Tracy, which isn't a big deal.
yeah, and I'm not.
I mean,
I don't
you
know.
want
That was just an
Ruffus with the
example, but
Raps, but
I'm
no, I
just
know what you're
saying
saying.
you never know what's going to happen, and your expectations are. I mean, mine are always up here, and usually they end up down here. So
That's true
it's, uh,
for the NFL, and we'll end the show on this point. The NFL in general, most of the draft picks you go crazy about, most of the time they end up as busts. So
yeah,
it's
yeah,
more likely that you pick a guy who's gonna suck ass than it's gonna be a guy who's gonna be like a fucking Pro Bowler. So
yeah. So
it's
everything we talked about draft wise, forget
it's,
it. It's
it's more like a
wrong.
lottery. It really is too. It's more
Yeah,
like a lottery. It really
right.
is.
Because I mean, like I said, you're talking about it one way now, and things could look totally different in the future. I
Yeah,
mean, just think about the Jags trading a first round pick to the Browns. Who knows what that could turn into? We think it's a stupid move now, but who knows what it turns into next year. So we'll see. Only time will tell. Yep.
yeah. The
But yeah,
NFL is a whole different beast, baby.
yes, sir. And I love that beast. Arr, arr, arr.
Oh yeah.
Cut that. Cut that.
All right. Well, great episode 03. Put it in the books, and thank you guys for joining and listening. We hope you had a good old time, and
Thank y'all.
thanks for being with us. We are almost at the 1 month anniversary of the touchdown talk, so for our true fans out there that are listening right now, we know you've been listening since day one. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And just keep an eye out for our social media because I think we got I'll just make the announcement right now. I think we're gonna do some sort of raffle coming up for our followers. So
What the? When did we talk about that?
yeah, I forgot to tell you, but I have a bunch of jerseys. I'm just gonna give them one away to someone on
Okay.
Instagram.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, yeah. I'm thinking we just do a thing where like if you get 3 of your friends to follow our page, I'll put you into the raffle and then
I
you
like
know
it. I
you have a
like it.
chance to
So
win a
follow.
jersey. So
So
yeah, so
follow.
follow
Follow
at
now.
the
So you're the
Touchdown Talk
first one.
Pod.
Don't be the friend. Be the first guy to follow.
Yeah.
Be the
And
guy
then
who gets the
be the
friends.
guy who puts the
Yeah.
who invites the friends so you can be
Right.
put into the
Because then
raffle.
you'll get the
So
jersey, not them.
yeah.
There you go. Life hacks right there for you. All right. Thank you guys
All
so
right.
much for watching. Appreciate you.
Have a
Take it
blessed week,
easy.
everybody.
Love you
Peace.
guys. Peace out.